Hello, hello.
Hello, everyone.
We
Hello,
we
hello.
are we are live on the internet. So a very good morning, good afternoon, good evening to anyone tuning in or maybe watching later. So hello
Indeed.
to all of you. Okay, so welcome to the Modern Experiences show. This was a show we did a little bit last year, but we got busy and we are starting back up. So welcome if you're watching on X or YouTube or LinkedIn. We are in all the places. So we are your hosts for the day. I'm Sam, and with me I have my coworker Chris. How are you, Chris?
I'm doing well.
Just Chris. Hi, Chris.
Yeah. All right. So Chris and me are delighted to have one of our progress champions join us here today, Mr. Scott Snowden. How are you, sir?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me. It's always great to share the mic with others
Yeah.
and get some good conversation going.
Yeah. All right. So why don't we start? Maybe a quick introduction from you, Scott, and then we'll start picking your brain.
Sure. I look forward to that. I'm one of the partners at Flywheel Strategic. We're a full service digital experience agency. For us, it's all about just making sure that we can build the right relationships and understanding with our customers to elevate their digital experiences. We work for the kinds of clients that for whom digital experience really matters. It has to have an impact. It has to drive value, and that there's a posture for wanting to accelerate that, unlock that, grow that impact. So when we get to kind of wrap our arms around all of those kinds of scenarios, we get the most excited.
Okay, that's a mouthful. That's a lot. Lots of questions around that.
Yeah.
So first up, you mentioned digital experiences. So
Yes.
that can mean different things to different people. How do you define it? What does it mean to you?
I mean, it's one of the nice things about using that label is that does have a broad sort of experience. I've been in conversations where people think that means that we do like video games, like, oh, you build experiences, but that's not what we do. So it is a good word because it gets you thinking not just about a website, not just about social media, and there are great partners and supporters out there who can stay in one of those lanes quite specifically, very tactically, very effectively. For us, it is about thinking about how everything in your digital presence is integrated, supports an ongoing conversation, is thoughtfully constructed, and not sort of done too independently and too siloed. So for us, it means web development. It means a lot of operational web applications. It probably means transactional e-commerce. It probably means websites and web experiences that meet you in the moment on your mobile device, in a physical location, as well as late night scrolling.
Yeah, indeed. So, what are some tools in your tool set that you use to deliver such experiences? Is it the same for every type of product, or does it differ based on the type of experiences you're trying to provide?
Yeah, and I'm gonna kind of play politics here on you, and I'm gonna kind of shift away from a specific um, software tool. I can name a few of those, but the biggest, most effective tool that we use is the process that we follow for achieving success, and it is itself one of the most fundamental tools that we use. Understanding that we need to go through a methodology and follow an approach that we know has worked well and been so fruitful in the past, so that we stay true to how we can deliver the success we know how to deliver. So we have a momentum building process at Flywheel. We've given it a name. It has structure to it. Our team can tell you at any time where they are in that process. We we have some supporting vernacular and language around it that our customers get used to knowing, so that everybody is kind of moving forward in the same way. Actual software tools that unlock and enable that for us. We use Asana as our project management, Bible. It is everything to us, and it's where all of our information is tracked, so that internally we know what's going on, and it's transparently shared with our client too. Tasks, priorities, schedules, what have you. We use tools for time tracking and communication, so that it is all clear and organized. I don't think that's what you meant when you asked the question. Taking off the political hat, obviously we use Sitefinity a lot, not exclusively. We love it because of its capacity to be so flexible and scalable. And so for us, that implies that we're in a .NET ecosystem, but we're also a Salesforce partner. We're also doing a lot in the e-commerce space, and we have a very good relationship and partnership to deliver B2B e-commerce experiences with Znode. We're doing a ton of work with AI, and we're using a new platform called AI 1-Z to give a lot of the transparency and clarity to delivering AI experiences. We actually do a workshop at the end of every year where we give out a handout of our tools that you should all go check out. Last year's is on YouTube, so I'll leave it at that and for now.
I think it's commendable that we went 10 minutes into the show without a mention of AI, and here we are. No, you have mentioned this a few times, but Chris is probably way more aware of what Flywheel Strategic does. But forgive my ignorance. Could you tell us more about what you folks are and what do you do?
Sure. So we deliver these high impact digital experiences. That means we've worked in a variety of different industries. The one thing that sort of ties our clients together, as I mentioned before, is the digital experience has to have a value to the organization. So yeah, we can deliver some pretty cool brochureware and nice looking straight up content websites. We've just celebrated some visibility with Mortgage Professionals of Canada and their website launch. They've got a really cool story there about being able to deliver for a specific professional audience the kinds of resources, courses, membership renewal that you need in an authenticated experience for all mortgage brokers across Canada. At the same time, they've got a public profile. So they've got to be able to deliver information that's useful to the public and allow them to, they've got a Find My Broker feature that's on the site that's able to reach that public audience as well. That's a really good example of the kind of work that we do. We work a lot in finance and insurance, building sort of the back end experience that enables the channel that they target. So if you're an insurance broker, you want to be able to offer financing for the products and the insurance that you sell. We help our client connect into broker management systems and broker experiences so that their channel is enabled and can accelerate the impact that they're having and ultimately grow and just sort of make the technology disappear into the background, right? That's success to us if it enables the business to do what it needs to do and get out of the way and let that happen.
Scott, you had mentioned this digital experience and then the e-commerce side. Just out of curiosity, how do you sort of blend those? Because when people think of e-commerce, you always think of shopping carts, right? Yeah. It's like, well, how do I check out or how do I do returns? So how do you blend those two of digital experience with e-commerce?
Right. Well, I guess it's a kind of a false dichotomy, though. It's not to jump on that, but when you can think about your e-commerce experience as a digital experience, that's where you're going to get leaps and bounds ahead of your competition. I got stuck in this argument last week with somebody about no, it's about delivering the functionality. I'm like, well, that's obviously essential, but we take that as a given. There's lots of platforms out there that can just stand up a catalog and give you the capacity to buy something through a shopping cart. And if that's the case, and that's what you need, like, all the power to you, get going. If you're ready to have a bigger impact, have broader reach, have a better competitive advantage, especially in the B2B space, the conversation matters so much more. The experience that you need, the support that you're going to get after sale, it's thinking about the entire user journey from acquiring a new unknown decision maker to convert and start buying from you, to onboarding with you and your business, to becoming a repeat loyal advocate client. That supporting that entire journey is way more than just an e-commerce solution. E-commerce is part of that, but your digital experience, if it's thought through properly, is going to have elements that can enable everything along that path and bring a lot more prosperity.
Well, wise words there. So you mentioned back to Flywheel, like you do a lot of insurance and brokerage. Is that the only vertical, or do you have other industries that you serve as well?
No, we bring a lot of, the cool thing about it is we bring a lot of lateral thinking from one industry to the next. So yes, we have a particular cluster in finance, insurance. I kind of cluster them together. We've got a lot in sort of larger associations, member-based organizations, other professional services like construction and engineering, manufacturing, and of course we have some other, not-for-profits and smaller businesses, medium businesses. The thing again that sort of ties our client base together is their enthusiasm for growth and their recognition that the digital space is going to be critical to enabling that for them. That's not the case for every business, but the ones that do are going to feel very, very well at home, very close to home in our space at Flywheel.
How important is it, or maybe how reusable is it for you to maybe come up with a framework for delivering these experiences and then reuse it across industries and verticals, or do you have to change things up?
Well, that's where I'll come back to the comment a moment ago about lateral thinking. So the reusability of the concepts is critical to our success. And back to when you asked about the tools, having a framework and a process that is repeatable, that we know delivers a successful result. But the result for our clients is the competitive advantage, and it cannot be the same as any of our other clients. So the repeatability and the reuse of our understanding of our concepts, of our approach, of elements of our solution is absolutely paramount to efficiently being able to do our work so that it has economic value for our customers and our clients. But that's at a very fundamental level. We're not selling a catalog of widgets that anybody can use for any infinite amount of possibility. There's lots of platforms out there, and I know that lots are coming to mind as I mention that. And there's benefit there. In our case, we'll leverage some of those individual components when necessary, but it's not about the reusability for us. It's about unlocking competitive advantage.
Yeah. Now, not to put you in a spot, but you mentioned Sitefinity, and that's something Chris and me work quite a bit on, and then we care about the value we are bringing to folks like you as well. So, what are some of the things that you are fond of? Your beloved features of late, or things that you wish we built?
Nothing. It's all perfect. Just ask the product team. They never get emails from me.
We won't send this to Sergey.
And listen, it's kind of because of, in spite of the fact that I do work with the product team and have become a Sitefinity product champion, that I know a lot of sort of the inner workings of that, and I really appreciate. And our clients appreciate the fact that there's that direct channel to providing feedback and shaping the direction of the product. We like it for a few reasons. One, it is infinitely flexible for our creative team. There's nothing that they need to worry about when they are when they're looking for inspiration, when they're working with a client about shaping what the interface and the experience is going to become. There might be a budget that they need to rationalize against, but that they know the technology is not going to be an obstacle. Similar story for our development team. So they're like, fine, you want to do it that way? We can make it work. And then in terms of its adaptability and its flexibility for onboarding a new customer and a client, it's a very intuitive, very pleasant interface and tool to work with. So the barrier to adoption is very low. Now, that's kind of the practical side of it. What I think really impresses me setting the platform apart in the market is kind of the secret weapon that Sitefinity has, which is the CDP, which is Sitefinity Insight, which is this complementary product to the content management system that unlocks visibility into the return on investment you're getting from the deployment of your content. So often it is frustrating for digital experience managers to sort of justify a lot of the work that they do. Is this campaign working? Am I reaching the right audience? Well, without going into a great amount of detail, Sitefinity has an answer for that. And if we lead with that capacity and understanding, then the whole entire solution becomes that much more effective.
Yeah, well said.
Scott, if I could just jump in, I sort of a question, Scott. Hopefully I can phrase this right. Is from a full service agency like yourself, what are some of the challenges that you find that are sort of limiting the clients from realizing their full sort of digital experience roadmap? Is it budget, timelines? Is it, just out of curiosity, what are some of those challenges or limitations?
So I think it kind of depends on the function that you're thinking about when you ask that question. Your answer was kind of embedded even in the question. So for digital experience leaders, I think, and this is not to discredit some great strategic thinkers in this role, that it is roadmap. That the challenge, the friction is not what can the tool do, what can I deploy, but how can I plan for something knowing that the market shifts so fast, that there's so much uncertainty in the economy right now, but at any particular time, that the business might tell me something else that I'm completely unaware of at the moment. So what do I do to adopt, implement, execute a digital strategy that's going to give me that kind of certainty and flexibility? Mm-hmm. And so we'll work a lot up front with those kinds of leaders on, we have a digital planning canvas that helps map out just the gaps and opportunities. You don't have to action them all, but you know what's coming. Now on the sort of digital coordinator, the person on the ground executing here, I think a lot of it comes down to just pure resource, like amount of time in the day, and I think that when you can be savvy about mapping those kinds of how to prioritize your day against those objectives that the roadmap establishes, it gets a little bit easier. But we're in a day and age now where the tools and the technology are everywhere. Yep. It can be a bit distracting to try and wade through that and pick the right one and worry about picking the right one. And so, my advice, and I heard this at an event I was at last year, is it's critical to think about not how to make the right decision, but how to make your decision right. So work with what you've decided, where you're going, commit to it, and work on achieving your growth through that approach. Well
said again. Okay, Chris, I'm going to pivot here.
Sure.
And get back to our beloved topic of the decade, AI.
Yes.
So, Scott,
Aspen.
how do you see AI affecting what you do? What are you excited about? What are things that you are doubtful about? If you would like to share something visually,
Yep.
we can bring up things if you want.
Sure. So, the hot topic, and not a week goes by where I don't end up in a conversation, put up a lot of conversations about this online myself. Everybody that I talk to has AI in their pocket, has ChatGPT, or something like that at an arm's reach. And I think we've all very quickly adapted to the power that it brings for personal productivity boosts. The challenge is understanding how that can enable productivity within the business. And the challenge there is on many fronts. It's just confidence and leadership, I think, to know that if we embrace this and commit to it, we're not going to get burned and lose our jobs later. There's a safety and a transparency friction that hasn't gone away. I think the confidence has increased, and I think that the user expectation has tempered to help us mitigate that. As users, we don't expect an AI response to be perfect anymore. We did when we were filing legal briefs that were just spat right out of ChatGPT. But now I think we've all very quickly understood where it can be used, how to trust it, the level to which we should trust it. But as a business, you never want to be giving out answers to a broader audience that might be erroneous, or that aren't being shaped properly by your own content and conversation. So being able to overcome those kinds of friction points is critical to adopting AI. So it doesn't change the fact that our clients are asking us how to do this and what's the right way to go about this. If you want to pop up on the screen now, the post that I just put into the share slot there. So we share this with any of our clients or others that are thinking about how to get started with AI. And our advice is to do it iteratively and gradually to build confidence to the point where it's going to unlock the right kind of value. It's a spectrum of understanding and comfort. Most digital experiences don't have an AI experience in them yet. The easy place to start is what we're probably most familiar with, but injecting AI into your FAQ chatbot makes the setup of that tool so much faster, so much easier, and the experience and comprehension for the end user that much more solid and useful. You can then sort of turn up the dial in sophistication and get to the point where it's being a research assistant for you. It's giving a little bit more context and understanding to the answer. We then sort of get through the other layers of this adoption spectrum to the point where ultimately, yes, you can get AI to do things for the user, for yourselves in an automated fashion. Oh, I see you're trying to find an itinerary for the day when you visit this, tourist region. How about I book it all for you? Like, amazing. But knowing that it's going to book the right thing in the right place at the right time, it's possible. But again, the confidence level just needs to kind of go up, and the more we can sort of increase the level of sophistication, the better. So we use tools, and we can deploy tools that give a business transparency and the ability to literally turn that dial. Don't set it at 100 at the beginning. Until you've watched the answers it's provided, until you've trained it on your own content and your own information. And listen, this is not difficult work. This is not hardcore engineering that you need to do. There are tools available like a CMS that accelerate the adoption here for you.
Oh, yeah. Really well said. And so I come from a tech background, and it's a very similar story. So it can be daunting to get into it, but once you realize that you can slowly build up your confidence, then AI can, start becoming from just somebody who's sitting next to you, like a pair programmer, to slowly becoming a peer, where you can ask it to just do something, and you have confidence that it is going to be, what you expect.
Yeah, and listen, somebody gave me some AI generated content to support some promotion that we were doing for ourselves the other day, and I was like, it's way too inauthentic. So let's just use that as a good structure, but and I think we've all kind of gotten used to that internally, and now there's the capacity to sort of provide that instruction and guidance to the model itself.
Yeah.
No, I love the model, Scott. I think, one of my fears is when AI became, really popular a couple of years ago when it started to sort of rear its head. It's obviously been around for a while. I was curious if it would go sort of the same way. I've been in the DX space for 20 years now of like personalization. If we all remember back in like 2013, 2014, in the web content management space or DX space, personalization was all the rage.
Yes.
Everybody wanted it. Everybody was talking about it, but nobody really ever did anything with it. They kind of found it as like, it's going to be too cumbersome. It's,
Right.
there's a lot of power, very powerful. So it never really went anywhere. And that was my fear with AI, where I think there's a ton of potential there. But if people kind of, like you said, they went from, 0 to 100 in a day, it just becomes overwhelming.
It's a bit overwhelming. But
Yep.
this is the answer for personalization. You're right that was the obstacle for personalized digital experiences. I've got to produce more content to be that personal.
Yep.
Well, now your AI assistant in the back end can hyper personalize for you and accelerate your capacity to deliver those contextualized micro moments, one-on-one experiences.
Awesome. Out of curiosity, Scott, from an agency perspective, what ways have you guys adopted AI?
We were, and you can stop the share on this one, Sam. We were one of the only agencies that I knew a year ago or so, sort of developing an AI policy. So we've published it. We're very forthright about how we use it. It is completely embedded in our workflow. I've read the terms and conditions of any of the tools that we have adopted internally. It is absolutely mandated that if you're using AI at Flywheel, it has to be a paid account that we provide to you, so that we get the reassurances and safety provided by those terms and conditions and those guarantees from those tech companies. But it is a personal assistant all day, every day for everybody. It's helping write code. It's helping think. It's helping structure. It's helping plan. It's helping organize. It's helping write and communicate. But and the key thing about that policy is that under no circumstances do we allow that efficiency gain to impact our timesheets. So it is a benefit and efficiency that we have to give back to our clients. And you know what? They're not saying, well, thanks, I guess we don't need as much of you anymore. They're saying, great, thanks. Now we can do 18 more things as well. Our to-do list didn't get any shorter as a result of finding those efficiencies. So I think it's going to be an enabler and a great productivity boost for, everybody.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question here. So from the personal assistant side, if we think about AI for other applications, like, do you see AI helping out with content discoverability, SEO? There are certain emerging things, because like the part of the hesitancy sometimes is it's hallucination, where these AI models, no matter how advanced, they are time-stamped and they can only learn what they have been fed, and they can crawl, but they don't do things in the moment. They're not tools that can go out and learn on its own. So they start hallucinating if they don't know something, and they're trying to do patterns and coming up with things. But do you think AI has the potential of actually surfacing content from your CMS, from your websites and experiences, that you can that those can be customized to what you are wanting it to learn from?
So absolutely yes. And I mentioned earlier that there are tools now available to us and that we bring forward to our clients that have actually solved for those friction points and challenges that you just described. So you're right, the big LLMs, they get trained on publicly available data every once in a while. And there are features that allow them to search the web and pull in things that are a little bit more contextualized, but there is a lag, right? Well, when you're running your own model and your own AI platform, you can feed that thing content minute by minute. And so we do deliver and implement AI solutions that are able to consume our clients' content the moment it's published. It's directly connected to Sitefinity. You hit the publish button and your AI model is trained and told about that piece of content instantly. So there's no lag between the understanding and the answer. The balance is you still want the benefit of a large language model. If you train it on just your content, it's really not going to be more than a fancy database. So you need to merge both the contextualized understanding of who you are, your content, and what you fed it with balancing the power and horsepower of the entire LLM. And you can use tools, and again, I've mentioned we use AI 1 to Z to find that balance between when it should use its own RAG database and when it can default to the LLM. And what's cool about it is there's an AI layer at the top that helps make that decision. So you've kind of got this network of decision making at your fingertips.
Yeah, I mean, we are seeing agents, your agents, and talking to my agents, like it's another layer of intelligence on top, trying to figure out where it needs to go.
That's where I think we have a bit of a ways to go. I don't think, I think for very predictable transactional kinds of agentic interactions, let's get going. You know, in the insurance space, you can use it to process the orders and quotes that are coming in because it's the same relative structure. You're never going to feed an insurance quoting agent a restaurant menu. So there's a little bit more just sort of safety and parameters we can put around it. But if you have a broader, more diverse information input set, then that's where you need a little bit more finesse to find success.
So maybe a technical question here. So when you have your own AI models that you're hosting and you're feeding it contextual data, do your customers have concerns about, privacy, their IP leaving their premises, or are these mostly on-prem for customers?
Yeah, and that's another one of these sort of hesitations that's in the market, and I think that's just an awareness and an understanding thing. So I've mentioned that when our team at Flywheel are using AI, it has to be from a paid account that we've provided, where I've read the terms and conditions, and that's because those companies offering that tool to us we pay for the privilege of ensuring that they're not ingesting our data, that it's if they have access to our internal systems, it's contained within that context window and it's not shared to other clients and the general public. So I take them at their word. There's guarantees in there. There's financial incentives for them to be true to that word, and that provides a lot of value to us. So yes, do customers of ours and clients get worried about this? They do. We take them through the same sort of thinking and understanding. It's ultimately their risk profile and decision to make, but there are safeguards in place that will walk people through.
Yeah, and I mean, like you and Chris have both said, like this is like what we're doing with AI. Yes, it's new, but the core technologies have existed for a long, long time. We did like machine learning. We did very specialized neural networks back in the days.
Yep.
And now it's just graduated up to a very high level where LLMs are so much more capable, but they still have that, balancing act of something very contextual that is, surfaced through a model versus very generic, help from an LLM. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we are also starting to see some standardization, which is, I think, welcome from a tech stack perspective, where these agents and these models have a standard language to talk to each other, because otherwise things get lost in a lot of implementation details. Sure. And that can be hard. So there's a lot of excitement about model context protocol, which is a technical way these agents can talk to each other.
Yeah, and I think it's also sort of been something that they've had to build on top of existing protocols and languages as well. It's just saying like, hey everybody, let's make sure we're not trying to be too fancy here, because this is not where the win is going to happen, right? So
yeah. So when you surface all of these experiences, like are there struggles to stay on top of like the different ways in which people consume, like different types of devices, different endpoints?
Yeah, and which model do I want to use, and is Claude better than Anthropic, better than ChatGPT, and whatnot. So the cool thing is that this is a lot to stay on top of if you as a client of ours, or as a insurance finance company, you've got to run your business of doing what it is you do best. And it is a ton to keep on top of and make the right kinds of choices, understand. But that's always been the pressure and the case. Which email marketing engine do I want? Which CMS do I want? How do I know if I should go this way or that way? And I think that that's just a good value statement for having good partners in the delivery of that experience for you. We do this all day, every day. We have an AI champion. My business partner, Oliver, has sort of taken on that mantle, and he geeks out about this all the time. We talk internally, we compare notes, we're experimenting across different channels, across different client bases, across different industries, so that we can bring our clients, the most current information and relevant detail that we possibly can. You can also ask ChatGPT to answer that question for you.
Yeah, mileage may vary, right? Okay, so let me ask you on the front for on users where they meet your products. What can you do for me as a non-technical person just using an app? What can you do for me in terms of me being productive and starting to be creative? Like, should I be, and maybe these are like wish list ideas, but should I be able to ask your app to say, make me a widget that does this, goes and talks to this database and sends an email here? So would you eventually want AI to be able to do that for me?
Yes. I was speaking at one of the universities here in town earlier this week. I'm on the advisory board for one of the programs there, and I was talking to the students. And in the course, this is a web development course, they're not allowed to use AI. Okay, it's kind of like saying don't collaborate on your homework assignment. Like, everybody did it; it's still going to take place, but the policy is, let's unlock our own brains here. And they all got excited when I was speaking to the class. I just put up a slide that just had AI on it. And I said, listen, when you come into industry, we're going to buy you a license. We're going to give it to you, and we're going to expect you to use it because our clients expect it. They want as much productivity from their partners as can possibly be provided. But they also want accuracy and efficacy and growth. And if you're prioritizing speed over quality, well, that's hastiness, and that is poor quality, and that's not going to give you, and that's going to run into trouble. So do I want a solution where as a user, as a vibe coder, you can ask for these things to be done for you? Sure. But I need people on our team who are strategic thinkers, who are flexing their curiosity, who want to know why the answer that they just got was the one that they just got. And they need to be able to put it into the thing that their coworker is also working on. Do I think that AI will keep sort of moving that bar forward? Absolutely. Do I think the human element will ever not be required? No. It will just sort of shift its usefulness and application to make sure that we're innovating, we're being creative, we're validating, we're unlocking, we're conversing, we're spotting brand new opportunities, we're contextualizing everything around us and bringing it back into the tool set that we use to boost what we're able to do.
Yeah. Very well said. So like the human interface, human judgment
Yeah.
and validation to what
Like
AI
there's a
is
trade-off there.
producing.
Like the AI can do a lot of things and judge for itself many things that I can do. But let's not forget all the things that I can still do.
Yeah.
That are going to push our world forward. So I'm an AI optimist, to say the least.
Yeah, no, that is very good. So am I. To Chris's prior point, like about personalization, do you see that landscape changing? Like, do you think with AI, like we might be able to deliver more personalized content?
Absolutely. I mean, we already can do that, right? And so my ChatGPT account has a full understanding now of who I am. And if you haven't done this experiment, ask it to tell you about yourself after it's developed this history of everything that you've talked to it about. It's a bit freaky that how well it knows you even after a short conversation history. But it will be able to do research projects for you. It will be able to take action, to understand things, and that's good because I'm going to get what I like, more quickly. What it's not going to do is capture a moment that starts to make you sort of adapt who you are and question sort of whether or not that's that perspective is interesting, but it's interesting to me in a way that the AI would never capitalize on. I go out in the market, I go to a conference, I talk to my family at dinner, somebody shares an idea and it just starts to percolate and spark inspiration and whatnot. That's a very, very, very long way away in the land of AI, in my opinion.
Yeah. You have some very, very wise words, my friend. Chris, anything else on your mind?
I just asked Scott, so, obviously AI is in the, sort of the forefront of everything now. From your perspective, bring out your crystal ball. What's sort of the next big thing in the digital experience landscape that you see, or you think will be there?
So I think it's going to force clients to hyper personalize, to turn what they do into this agentic interface. So it's you deliver, you own. On the spot here, I'm kind of innovating. It's switching from, you're still going to have a platform and an experience that you own and you curate and you deliver, but you're going to be forced to let that out into the wild. And you're going to have to kind of trust the process and the digital space to provide for you and to be an opportunity, not a threat or a risk. Yeah. So being able to craft this and position your business and your digital experience it's like SEO, right? It's like we used to do things so that search could find us properly and we could trick the algorithm into thinking that, this is the next click. Well, from an AI perspective, it's going to make us have to kind of keep thinking like that, but in a whole new way that I don't think we quite understand yet. So being able to build businesses, run our lives in ways that enable AI to accelerate things for us, innovate for us, is going to be the future, in my opinion.
Scary times I think for a lot of maybe old school, people that, like you said, like the old SEO folks that I'm going to trick the algorithm, but to kind of just say, trust and go is a hard thing.
Yeah, I think that I was thinking this would, like a year or two ago, that like I thought, oh my God, this is going to show up instantly and we're all screwed. I thought that. Yeah. And the more time has gone on, I tempered my fear and my anxiety, and I kind of switched teams there, and I was like, we got to pay attention to this and we got to stay on top of this, but boy, does this open up opportunity and accelerate sort of a prosperous future. So
awesome. And then just one more thing for me, Scott, do you want to talk about the digital momentum? show?
I do. Sam, do you want to just put the other the same screen up there? Thanks for prompting that, Chris. The other one, Sam, the other share. That was the so we love talking about this. We love thinking about this. We love bringing our clients together into a space where we can just really chew on this and get inspired. So we've got an event that we're hosting with Sitefinity, with some of our other partners, June 3rd. It's going to be in Toronto. We're capping the registration at 100 people, so it's meant to be something that is going to be intimate and real value kind of stuff. We're thrilled that Scott Brinker is going to be talking at this event about the AI-driven future of MarTech. Sarah from Progress is going to be leading that conversation together with him. So even if you just came for the first hour, it would be worth the price of admission. We've got some success stories. We've got some pro tips. We're talking about AI. We're talking about e-commerce, and we've also got somebody that we've worked with a lot in the past talking about story strategy, how to communicate. I was having a prep session with her the other day, and I just got so excited about sort of the content that she's bringing forward. So take a look if you're interested. It's going to be a really fun day.
Awesome. Well, thank you for putting this together and organizing. Looks very exciting. So, Scott, ending thoughts here. What's next for you in the next year, the next 5 years? What are you looking forward to?
Well, I like to go fishing in my downtime and skiing in the winter. And hopefully the climate maintains my ability to perform both of those activities. But on a professional front, it's we want to, at Flywheel, really lean into our opportunity that we have to drive this conversation, lead this conversation, and make sure that those that are in our space and around us understand sort of where the opportunities and challenges lie, and help them with that roadmap to really thrive. Like not just grow, of adding, but really truly thrive in that space.
Well said. Well, Scott, we love you. We love your energy. We love your optimism and embracing new tech, but at the same time balancing out your customer needs and staying realistic to provide value. So,
well, thank you. Let's hope the lunch counter that I'm going to go stand in isn't as long, and the optimism carries me through the rest of my day.
All right. Well, Scott, thank you for spending a precious hour of your day with us. Chris and me really appreciate, and we hope to see you around. Well, clearly you folks are going to see each other in June, but
actually we'll see each other next week.
We do.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Connect with us on LinkedIn, and you won't avoid being able to see us.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, folks.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. And on another upcoming stream, but that's it from us. Have a great rest of your day, and take care.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for joining.